Welcome to the Asheville View. I'm your host, Aisha Adams, and today I have with me from the Asheville Community Theatre, the writer, director of Transitions, and author Ria Young, and the cast and crew of Transitions. So let's start with Ria. Everybody just kind of introduce yourselves and tell about what your role is in this project.
So, as you said, I'm Ria Young. I'm the writer and director of this specific piece. I'm an author. Published a book in 2017, which kind of jump started this particular piece of work. So when you see it, it's my life. It's based off of people that are still currently in my life, and just kind of shares a little bit about my journey.
Hi, my name is Leo. It's my first time ever working in like this, I guess, part of the art stage. I'm more in like the musical area of art. So this is a great opportunity for me. I play the role of Ray Sean. He's best friends with the main character, Cassia's character, Molly. And basically, he's trying to helping her through her whole transitioning process. And for me personally, as a character, I'm struggling with, getting out into the world, graduating from college and making something of myself.
Yeah, Nemo.
Hi, y'all. My name is actually Naimah Coleman, but as you've heard, I also go by Nemo. I use she, they pronouns, and I don't know if you call me a veteran of ACT, but I do have a strong connection with ACT, and have been doing a lot of work with them for many years through their youth programs, and I'm actually really excited to be in this show to actually give me the chance of, this is like the first chance I've gotten to do live theater after graduating college. So, and I went to college for that. But I play the role of Ka / the therapist. And Ka is kind of like the frenemy of Molly and, everyone else. Mainly, there's mostly like a frenemy dynamic between her and Molly. And I'm just enjoying the role and enjoying the chance that I get to work with my people.
I am beaming over here. So, Cassia, you are Molly playing the lead role.
I'm playing the lead back again.
Take my breath away.
Listen, this has been such a beautiful experience because this is the second rendition, right? So last year we did the reading of the play, and Cortina Janelle was in it. Elizabeth Garland was there. Ty was in it. So it was like a completely different dynamic. So we're literally in transitions, and it's so crazy to like watch my evolution as a woman, as a person in Asheville, and then to watch the evolution and the transition of this piece of art and this piece of work, and to like, get to know new people, really learn a whole nother role and have to step into that. So I'm ecstatic. I'm beaming as well, Aisha. This is going to be so awesome.
So girl, tell us about Molly. Who is Molly and what is Molly up to?
Okay, so Molly is the basketball star, okay? She is showing up and showing out. And really, basketball has been her thing. Now, like everybody has said, we're graduating college, we're figuring out what's next, but we're also exploring the like depths and the inside of what it means to be Molly, to be this person. And how do we expose that and walk with that and really show that to the world? As we're being judged and criticized, and as we're judging and criticizing ourselves, and really balancing this whole masculine, feminine aspect, and what that means in the world, and how we want to show that to the world and work and play with that. So it's a transition for sure. And even still, I'm like, I gotta pick up the basketball, gotta be on the court, gotta get into this like whole masculine energy. You got it.
It's not. I don't think basketball is masculine or feminine. It's either win or go home. So it's not really a masculine. That I think basketball has a they pronoun, honey. So for me, it's just getting into the game, honey. Get into the game. So Kirby, are you a frenemy or a friend to Molly? Like, where do you stand in all of this?
I play Nessa, who is a friend to Molly, and maybe also, something of a flirtation with Molly as well. And I think sort of acts as like a guiding light for Molly, maybe more of an example in terms of trying to, Nessa tries to help her through and maybe direct her in where she thinks she should go, but more so just being that friend who is a constant source of light and support, and willing to have those more difficult conversations with Molly, gets a little closer than maybe some of the others. But one thing I love about this show is that it does address the issues of mental health in the community of people of color. It's not something that is as exposed as maybe it could be in that area. And I think this is a really great example of just like, it's everybody. You can have a struggle with those issues. And even when you think you have nobody to turn to, those resources are there. And so I think that's something that's really valuable about the show. Nessa's just a very grounded character, just trying to be there and show up for Molly where she can.
I love it. I love it. So Ria, as they talk about these characters, you are just glowing. I can see the pride. I mean, you're not a very prideful person. So I love to see that acknowledgement on your face. What's interesting is you've always written for the Black community, about the Black community, about what it means to be in basketball. For as long as I've known you, that has been a vehicle of how you have taught lessons and teach. You just got a fellowship through ACT. Can you talk a little bit about that fellowship and what we can expect through that fellowship in terms of transition and the work that is to come?
Okay. So yeah, it's like you said. So I take pride and I'm very intentional on the stories that I create and the stories that I share. It's always interpersonal to myself and the people around me. Because as Black people, we're so multifaceted and so layered. There's always an avenue and an opportunity to share a different story. So that's kind of the basis that I write from. And then with the fellowship with ACT came about after the stage reading of Transition back at the end of 2020. And I just saw an opportunity for a deeper partnership and to be able to expand Transition itself and, and what I would be able to bring to the theater community already being established in that space. So the fellowship started in August of 2021, and it'll conclude in August of this year. And within that Transition, of course, is being presented as a full stage production. And then ACT gets a first look at my newest creation, which is entitled Through Troubled Waters. So that's the main pieces of the fellowship. And then some of what trickled out from that was the narrative play reading series, where I got to focus specifically on the writing of Terrell Alvin McCraney. And we got to dissect his Choir Boy and the Brother Size plays. And I kind of got to talk a little bit about the influence that he's had on me personally in those works specifically. And then part of my, the best thing about this fellowship, in my opinion, has been the establishment of the Young and Gifted internship, where youth of color are able to act as an intern for Transition and Through Troubled Waters, and they get a firsthand, hands-on look at everything that goes into, bringing a production from the page up to the stage. So that's really the totality of what everything is. And then a little fun fact, Through Troubled Waters is that cast is on here as well with Cassia and Leo. So they'll be starring in my new work as well.
Yeah. So this is a question just for the whole general cast. Like, how important is it for creators like Ria to create these parts and for them to be on these stages? How often do these opportunities come to you in Asheville? Naimah? And then Cassia, and then Kirby. It looks like all y'all want to answer. Go for it.
hoping that you would ask a question like this, because I actually like was literally just talking about this with a few friends of mine. I realized like as like theater is literally like it is a part of me, like it is my heartbeat, and it's something I'm extremely passionate about, and just wanting to do it more and everything, and looking back and reflecting on my experience with theater, I've noticed from being in transition that like this is a really great opportunity, all because of Ria, because this is the very first time in my entire life of doing theater, and I've been doing theater since kindergarten, that I have been able to be a part of predominantly Black cat or BIPOC cast, let alone an all complete fully BIPOC class or cast, and written by a Black director and playwright and all the things. So this is just like groundbreaking experience right now, because it's like giving me like, I just like, even the rehearsals and just like the whole, like everything is different, because like it's literally like it's family. It's not like you're like I'm not being judged, I'm not being the token Black girl, and I know that I'm not being casted as that, because you know, you have so many years of being casted or being put into plays that were created for white people, or mostly white people, and then you have your token Black girl or token Hispanic girl, Latinx or person, and just, you know, your token people, and it's just like, okay, yes, like I'm gonna play I don't know if I can swear, so I'm gonna play the mess out of these roles.
All right now.
But also I can play Galinda from Wicked. I can be any one of these roles. Like, and I need you to see that. And so, you know, like, so this is like getting the chance to do just that. And so I'm completely blessed. I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more times. I am excited. I'm grateful. I'm in my element right now.
Cassia?
So I just want to echo what Nemo said, because like, yes, in fact, Ria having the opportunity to get herself out there, right, and to really show what she's a part of, and to have the support of community. And honestly, you know, it's going to sound kind of weird, but like, of white community, because it seems like they don't always know how to help or how to show up and support. And a lot of times it really is just opening the doors to the resources that we haven't had access to. So just echoing that, you know, feeling so blessed, so amazing to be connected to these beautiful individuals. And my theater journey really started in Asheville at WC Reed Center, what is now I don't even remember what it is now. Livingston, it's not Livingston Street. Y'all know what it is. And excuse me, but Mr. Levon was there, and William Hoke, and like Tori, and Pierre Griffin. And it was just an amazing experience to have moved from College Park, Georgia, the predominantly Black space, to Asheville, where all the Black people are like cut and hidden in the hoods. And it's like the only place where I felt comfortable was in the South. So it's like having this connection, you know, that was like 2008, 2009. And then the next production I was in was Black Nativity, which was like 2017 or 2018. And, you know, that was freaking incredible. The musical, the connection with community, the food, like it was amazing. But then it was a 3 or 4 year break until the next opportunity popped up to be a part of something that is me, that looks like me, that speaks to me and my people, and my dad's story and my mom's story and my sister's story. So it's like, to have this opportunity and to be present, like we really deserve just a space where we can create and where we can, you know, love up on each other and explore these depths and these stories without that judgment, without that criticism. And, you know, for it to be in Asheville where everybody's like, where's the diversity? And for all of us as Black people to be working so hard to be like showing up for our people, sometimes we really do just need the space to relax and laugh and cry and just like, you know, forget that like we can create our own worlds, and we can create the endings to these stories and the continuations to these stories and these narratives that really bring us to a place of peace and presence and love within ourselves and each other. So shout out to Ria, shout out to ACT, and thank you, Aisha, for having me on.
This is so lovely. So I have probably a weird question that I want to ask Leo. So Leo, I'm an artist, I'm a writer as well, but I'm not an actor or I'm not a singer. Please, I'm like not either of those things. So I can't remember other people's lines, and I definitely cannot hold a tune. But I was talking to Jasmine Washington. I don't know if you know Jasmine, and we were talking about just like the difference between painting a picture and then doing like an art installation. And she was like, Aisha, just the labor, not to mention the amount of paint. Like these are all things that I didn't think about, right? As we went from one medium, the paper, to, you know, the wall. So you mentioned earlier, like, hey, I am into theater. I usually do musicals. How has this process been for you? What is that transition like? And what are some of those things that the average person wouldn't even think would be like, oh, I get what you mean.
So just to clarify, I've never been in a musical before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm more of like a vocalist, like an artist, hip hop, R&B type of thing. Yeah. And so like the biggest difference for me, like, yeah, you're in front of people, you're performing, people are like all eyes on you, but like it's your music, it's your words, it's your energy, your feel. And so I guess the biggest difference was being able to relate to this character. And there's something that like I really respect Ria for is how she wrote my character. It's just one line in that really like actually like talks to me, as in like where he's talking about like, wow, like, all right, here comes a big world, and like it's time for us to actually like make something of ourselves. And like one line in particular when it's talking about like having people to look up to or look at from where you're from for like guidance or you know, to see the blueprint of how to get there, and there's nobody there, just more reminders of people you don't want to be like. And that really hit hard. So that kind of helped me be able to relate better. So right now, my only thing is just memorizing these lines and getting ready for this weekend. So I'm ready. I'm hyped.
Well, Leo, you and I have something in common, because for the life of me, like y'all, I cannot remember my lines. And when I took acting, I don't know if y'all know Sebastian Cole, but he is a multi-award-winning artist. You can hear most of his work on like the Shonda Rhimes shows, like Grey's Anatomy. That's kind of how he releases his music. But he was my acting partner. And so as y'all can see, he is a talented entertainer, award-winning. And y'all, I could not remember the lines to Raisin in the Sun to Save My Life. Now, if I'm watching it and I'm in the bed, I can act every part out. But when all eyes are on me, I cannot remember other people's words. So I think it's great that you all have that talent and that skill. And I think a lot of it comes from that realistic dialogue that you all are talking about, and how you're able to connect with characters. Ria, you talked a little bit about some of your influence and training in the other question, but this question for you is just simply about, how do you do it all? How do you write, direct, you know, like you do it all? Like, how do you do it all and keep that consciousness throughout the process? Because it feels like a different lens for every position, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it definitely is. I really just lean on my spirituality and my faith and the guidance of the ancestors and how they come to me and move through me. To kind of make sure that I'm staying realigned and staying centered and focused on the message that I'm trying to come across when I'm in the stages of writing. So I'll just kind of get into my zone and my space, and then I'll actually become each character as I'm writing. So I'm writing from the lens of how this person will feel in that moment. And then as a director, I'm really not, I wouldn't say like I'm your typical director. I believe in my cast so much that I allow them space to find their connection, and I allow them space to have those characters fit their natural rhythm. So each of the cast are in characters that they feel and they relate to. And so they kind of just they're just intertwined. And so sometimes it takes a little bit for them to find that. But I feel like if I give them too much direction, then it'll stifle their creative process and their cultivation of what they ultimately want to get across to the audience within that character. So I'm basically just a director that kind of guides and pulls back and, in that sense, versus like staying over top of them and saying like, hey, you got to stick to every line that's on this page. And so I kind of wear, like you said, I wear different hats, but when I step into a director's role, there's a certain sense that I have of guidance. And then as I'm writing, I just kind of step into each of those characters.
And what is your writing process like? Like, how often are you writing? How do we get these wonderful pieces from you? What is that like? Do you lock yourself up in a room from your wife for a month? Like, what does that look like?
It's really, I do kind of lock myself in a room when I'm in that space and I have a piece to create, and I'll just kind of pray. I'll meditate. I'll have some John Coltrane or Thelonious Monk or, some of those old school jazz players in the background. And I'll just, for the first 30 minutes to an hour, I'm just kind of sitting within that, and whatever vibe I feel, whatever comes to me through prayer, meditation, and speaking with the ancestors. And then I just kind of flow within that. So I typically write about 5 days a week. And then I realign myself for 2, and then I hit the next week going right back at it.
Like
and then
a gym regimen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds like a gym regimen. Yeah. So when is the show? When is opening night? How much are the tickets? What does the community need to do to support you?
Oh man, so the show premieres April 1st, next Friday night at 7:30. Tickets are $15. You can go to ACT's box office or go to their website and get tickets that way online. It runs April 1st, April 2nd, and April 3rd. So it's 3 showings that weekend. And really, the best way for the community to support us is just to show up. This piece is really for them. Like I said multiple times, it's not just enough for me to be in this position if I'm not bringing other people with me. And the main thing is I want, our people to be able to feel comfortable to come into the space of ACT and see themselves, whether they connect with Molly or Nessa or Rashawn or Kai, whoever they connect with and whatever they see in those characters, that's really what I want for us to come into this space so we can feel the tribe, feel the Black magic, and just kind of be in that as a tribe and a community for that hour and a half.
So one final question before we go, because I'm dying to know, you mentioned that these characters are based off people that are really in your life. How mad are those people at you right now? Or how mad will they be? Right?
They saw the stage reading and they weren't mad at all. They really weren't, because it's all about growth and embracing the journey and the evolution. And it's like at that time, that space, that's where we were. And then we just kind of grown with each other. We evolved with each other. And so it was kind of for some of them, it was a little bit therapeutic because it humanizes them in a way as well. And they can see themselves in a different light. So it was a really dope feeling once I kind of got their feedback on it.
Yeah. Were you nervous?
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, when you can write a story about a situation that happened and you can tell the truth and people can come back and they can see themselves and not be angry, that means it was time to tell that story, right? Because sometimes I think people pull the trigger too early. Maybe it's not time. You tell a joke, it's too soon. You definitely can write about something too soon or share something too soon. So I'm super excited. I'll be there April 1st. My whole team will be there. We'll be there to support. We are so excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you having us on.
And you're watching the Asheville View.